Imagination. It's impressive, it's terrifying, it's inventive, it's destructive. The human mind's potential to grow, conceptualize, and conceive is something to behold. Anyone can create worlds, characters, and contraptions larger and more elaborate than the brain in which these things reside, but a smaller number of people have learned the skills to free what they create from their cranial prison. Some through paints, some through an easel and a canvas, some through a modelling program and a mouse-keyboard combo, and some through fabric, needles, and threads. These are but a few outlets for a creative mind. And then there's those who might lack the artistic skills to bring their creations to life, and elect to use other mediums as their outlet, particularly sandbox games, the do and act as you will sort of game. The subject of this discussion video is one such game, and one that would become not only the best-selling game of all time, at the time of this production being made that is, but influencing others to expand on and replicate its ideas for years to come as well. Minecraft was the brainchild of one Marcus Pusson, otherwise known as Notch to the community, and together with music from C418 later down the proverbial road, they created a place where everything is made of blocks, and the only limit is the player's imagination. Over time, Notch's company Mojang, who'd later work under Microsoft after being acquired by them, would expand on the world and variety of blocks the player could build with, allowing for more detailed and elaborate builds. However, like any game that continues to be supported and updated to this day, there's still room for improvement in the eyes of the dedicated player base for many things, and the necessity differs from player to player. While these things are solved through modifications, it doesn't change the desire for these things to be added to the base game. I am A Spectrum D, but you may also call me Lewis, and in this video, I intend to cover the things that I would personally like to see within the base game of Minecraft. These things are presented in no particular order. With that all out of the way, let's begin. We'll start with additional building options, of course. To begin with, I'd like for the variety in coloured building materials to be expanded upon, but not in terms of the full coloured blocks. We have wool, terracotta, and concrete already. What I would like is for more shapes to make more interesting builds using those vibrant colours. These thoughts were solidified when I discovered the More Slabs, Stairs and Walls mod by Nibaru for 1.20.4 and decided to play around with it. Needless to say, I was surprised at the amount of blocks that were adapted into the aforementioned building options. That said, while I wouldn't oppose the addition of all these new blocks, I don't think they're all necessary. If I had to narrow it down, I would choose the solid concrete, unglazed terracotta, wood and stone variants of these block types. This includes granite, andesite, diorite, all that jazz. I think that something else that would really help for making wall trims would be the ability to place two different slab types in the same space. It would save the trouble of wanting said trim but having to have one's utilities elevated a block and a half. It just looks strange. In addition, I'm for the idea of vertical slabs, but I won't linger on it. There's plenty of discussion about this idea from others in the community. Mojang has said themselves they won't add it, but we can hope. As a final note for this section, I'd like to give the survival mode players a break and allow invisible item frames to be craftable. Admittedly, I'm unsure of the crafting recipe, but I'd like for survival players to have that option. Next is just spicing up animations. Minecraft's simple animations have their charm, but I really like how the trailers for the updates and Minecraft dungeons keep that element of stiffness to the characters, yet they still experiment with how they make them move, making them more dynamic. These things make the world look so much more alive, and I'd like to see the player and mob animations built upon in this manner. Sort of like how the Fresh Animations mod by FreshFX does, but perhaps minus the facial animations, as that likely wouldn't work with how some skins are made and it would be inconsistent. Next is multiplayer. It is possible to join a Minecraft world in a few ways. One can join and play with a friend through the Bedrock Edition's crossplay, or hosting a server themselves with a bit of computer knowledge. But the best way, and the one that can hold the most people, are paid servers and realms. These methods are paid, of course, and I believe should remain so as to not disrupt the revenue too much. Alternatively, I do think that, for the Java version especially, there should be a way to create a small capacity world that's free to connect to and join. I think 4 to 5 slots should suffice before considering using unofficial or costly hosting methods. Perhaps it's possible to utilise an invite system like Realms that the creator can use to invite players by username, select permissions, all that jazz. Or maybe someone wants to join and the creator doesn't know or can't spell their username. Then they have the ability to set a 4-digit passcode the player can then input and join through it. It might be a bit much, but it's the best idea I can think of. A good chunk of third-party content produced by influencers pertains to SMPs, or survival multiplayer servers. Next is little visual touch-ups. In regards to blocks like glass and all the different smelted or polished stones, like the examples I said before, I think an option to have connected textures would be really nice. Maybe a function could be added wherein right-clicking with a pickaxe in hand enables or disables said textures. It would be similar to stripping wooden logs, but unlike logs, connected or disconnected glass or walls wouldn't be a different block entirely when altered. As a side note, I don't have the knowledge to pinpoint how to do it, but general optimization is always a must if it can be done. The amount of optimization mods on the Feather launcher, good lord. For my closing statement, perhaps my desires aren't quite as varied or as in-depth as others, but I very much play the game for the building aspect, and while I don't oppose any addition to the player's creative options, I still wanted my short list to be grounded. Realizable, if that's a word. But what say you? Have you any additions, changes, or even removals you'd make to the game? Do make your opinions known in the comments section. Before I depart, I also have a Twitch channel that I stream on occasionally, so if you'd like to join me live, feel free to subscribe, enable notifications, and keep an eye on my community posts, which is where I announce them typically. With all that being said, I've been A Spectrum D, but you may also call me Lewis, and until next time, fare thee well.